I encourage you guys, if you're on LinkedIn, you can follow me at Jason Rigby. Just type in my name, Jason Rigby, and you will see it. One of the things on LinkedIn I saw the other day from Leadership First, and they give the 7 C's to build a winning team. And I love this, and I wanted to go over these 7 C's with you. I think this is like, I screenshotted this, and I'm like, I've got to talk about this. This is going to be exciting. 7 C's to build a winning team. Number 1 is coaching. Always number 1. I talk about it all the time. If you listen to my podcast for 3 or 4 episodes, you're going to see me coaching. I role play a lot of times in my brain on how I'm going to coach a person before they come in. But the number 1 priority to build a successful winning team is coaching. If you are not coaching, you are missing out. If you think your team is badass now, start coaching them. And I'm not talking like coaching like a basketball coach. I'm talking leadership coaching, where you're bringing them in, asking questions, allowing them to talk 80% of the time. The 20% that you talk is just asking questions. They come up through coaching. They come up with the answers. You direct and guide them. It's Socratic teaching is what it is. But the most important part about this is they begin to take ownership of the ideas that they came up with. And then they begin to do and work and excel and execute on the things that they took ownership on. So you want to stop putting out fires all the time? Do coaching. Number 2 is character. You've got to have good character, that grit, the willingness to execute, to stay longer, to get in early. You've got to have a team that is selfless and that will sacrifice for the greater good. Character. And you as a leader have to take 100% responsibility, and you have to demonstrate character. What does that look like? Can they rely on you? Are you emotionally stable? Do they worry like what you're going to do, what you're not going to do on any given day? Do you check out? Are you not available? Do you not listen? Do you just talk all the time? You know, these are things. How honest are you and transparent are you with those that you lead? That's character, and you have to display it and then expect it in others. Number 3 is communication. So important. Communication is so perverted. I'm going to use that word, perverted now. We've perverted it to emails and Slacks and text messages. You cannot, neuroscience has proven this. This is science. You cannot communicate effectively if you're not looking at somebody, and that can be Zoom, but being present, 2 people being present is the number 1 way to communicate. Look this up. You will see it. A lot of things happen biologically that you do not even realize when you're communicating one-to-one. Take the time to have a 5-10 minute meeting with the person. Don't send them a Slack or an email. You shouldn't be emailing very much. If you're emailing all the time and spending 20, 30 minutes to craft the perfect email, you could have had a meeting in that time. And in the meeting, guess what you're doing? You're coaching. So you don't need to write out a big email about exactly what they need to do and how they're going to do it. And here's the macro view, and here's where I'm at, and here's where you should be at. No, let them come up with all that during the coaching session. Then you just coached, ask a few questions. They came up with the game plan. Then they can send you an email of the outline of their game plan, and then you can approve it, have another conversation. If you see holes in it, bring them back in for 5-10 minutes and say, hey, I saw this. What do you think about this, or this? How do you think we would prevent this or this? I'm worried about risk with this. What do you think on the risk side of things? Now you begin to teach them to lead. That's communication. Communicating to make them take responsibility and to be a leader. Number 4 is commitment. This right here is something that you need to have in your team from the very beginning. And you need to put it out there. And you're going to have to do more interviews. You're going to end up not hiring the wrong person because you throw out this commitment. I used to tell, especially young people, and I got this from somebody else, they'd say, hey, I know you're going to, for me, marketing, I know you're probably going to want to work at a Snapchat, a Nike, an Adidas, something like that in the future, but I want you to commit 6 months a year to here, and let's learn and let's work really hard together. and let me be your mentor so that when you do go to these large corporations, when you do, and guess what happens? The culture, they may go to those corporations, but they always come back. Majority of the time, people come back. And a lot of times they won't leave because the culture is so great. But expect commitment in the beginning. Number 5, contagious energy. This comes from you, baby. This is you as a leader. What does contagious energy look like? It looks like believing in the best of every person that's there. John Maxwell has a favorite story where this waitress was just absolutely horrific to their table, and he gave her a big tip. You know why? Because he believed in the best of her, and she probably was having a bad day, and he didn't know what was going on. And you know what she did? She came out as he was walking out and apologized to him and said she was sorry. You don't know what a person's going through. You don't know where their mind is at. All you know is you can have contagious energy and believe in them. Sometimes they're not believing in themselves. Most people don't. Show them who their higher self is. That's your coaching, guys. Believe in them. Tell them that. Give trust out there. I'll say this. Hey, team, I know it's a new project for you, but I just know Susan, Bill, Monique, you guys have done awesome in the last project, and I know this one's a little bit tougher, but guess what? I believe in each of you. And I want to thank you guys for working and what you've done and the creativity that you bring to projects. I know you guys are going to do the same with this. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. See how I said that? Can't wait for you guys. That's contagious energy. Then you're like, saw that? You walk around constantly talking to people. That's the number one thing you do is talk to people at lunches and everything else. You're like, take the project manager out. Hey, you know what? Those 3 peeps that you put on the team, that team's doing awesome. I really appreciate you sharing with me this, and this, and everything that's going on. What are some of the things that you think that could hold them up or cause some issues? Is there anything that I need to get involved with, or do you've got this? You know, I do that over lunch. You don't even have to do the project. There's doing no work. You're just coaching, bringing out energy, communicating, showing commitment and character. And then number 6 is caring. When I use the L word again, love. You're in a relationship with these people. You see them 8-10 hours a day. Love your people. Love your people. How do you love someone that you work with? You show genuine interest in them. You show humility. You listen. You put your phone away. The emails, you cut your screen off. And you look them in the eye and you have a conversation with them and you're honest with them. And you share how much you appreciate with them of who they are. Because they're not just an employee. You're in a relationship with them. When you hire somebody, you're in a relationship with them. So make sure you want to be in that relationship. And we need to use the L word more. And then number 7 is consistency. This is the one I see leaderships fail all the time. They get on a high horse and then they jump right off that high horse the next week. There's no one is being held accountable. I see this all the time, especially on the sales side of things. These salespeople, they're not being held accountable. I would rather you do 20 phone calls a day, 5 days a week, than do 100 every once in a while. Because you're rushing through them. You know, it's like, oh, the boss wants us to do phone calls today. He's on that kick. Or, oh, he's checking our CRM and we didn't put in notes. We better do that. So they're running in there just putting in notes really fast just to please you. No, consistency. Day in and day out. Demonstrate consistency to them. A lot of times it's you wanting to take a shortcut inside of you. If you don't want to be consistent, a lot of times it's you want to take a shortcut. You're being lazy. You're procrastinating. All the ego stuff. You're seeking comfort. Go for a workout. Go for a walk. Go work out. Say, hey, I'll be back in an hour. And go do a workout, and I guarantee it'll change your energy, and you'll want to be consistent. Problem is you're not consistent in your personal life, so why would you be as a leader at work? It's all the same. Your work, your personal life, it's all the same. Consistency, consistent in the way that you love your kids, consistent in the way that you love your partner or spouse, consistent in the way that you work, that you demonstrate what a leader is to those that you have influence over. Consistency is so important. So guys, the 7 C's to build a winning team.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.